guys, welcome back to my channel. You loving it? It's part of today's video. So today what we're gonna do, something I am extremely familiar with, but something that so many women want to know how to do. We are going to be doing a beautiful, simple, glam bridal look. So let me get these patches off my eyes. I've already prepped my face and we will get started. I'll be right back. Okay guys, so we're going to start out by priming the eye. I just used a concealer. I believe I used Born This Way. Just smoothing it out on both eyes, making sure it's nice and even. Moving on to brows, I am using Hourglass Brow Micro Sculpting Pencil in the shade Dark Brunette. I am starting by combing my brows upwards. Next, I am going to focus on the underneath of the brow and framing it from the beginning all the way into the tip. Moving to the top of the brow, I am now going to frame the brow exactly where I want it, all the way from the midsection all the way to the end. Using the same pencil, I am now going to start making my hair-like strokes, starting from the bottom all the way to the top, making them look more like hairs than like harsh lines. I am now going to take my Benefit Brow 24-hour brow setter and comb through, pushing the brows upwards. Moving on to my eyes, I am taking my Viseart Matte Neutrals. I am taking the lightest color and sweeping it all over the lid. Using the same palette, I am going to take the next two lightest shades. I am now going to take my Morphe M504 or any nice fluffy brush, taking the color, sweeping it into the middle of the eye, right where the dip is. You're going to make sure you're doing small circles, making sure it is nice and blended. Moving on with my rougher 16 brush, I am going to dip into the second row, the last shade. Taking it right on the tip, I'm going to start right where I was, softly smoking it out just a little bit deep. You want to continue blending, making sure you are not going up too high. On to my Sonia G Blender Pro brush. I'm going to continue with that same color. Moving on with just a slightly smaller brush, I am using Rougher number 14. I am going to dip into the darkest brown color and focus right there in the corner, smoking it out. Try not to go up too high. Going back in with the Morphe M504, I am going to dip into the lighter brown and smoke it out. Just taking the same brown color and building up just a tiny bit towards the brow bone. Going back in with my Rephr 14 and the same dark brown, I am just adding more and slowly building. Moving on to just a slightly fluffier brush, I am using Morphe M330. I am going to just buff out the eyes so that I have no harsh lines. That I've completed both eyes, we are going to take the Sydney Grace Mel Thompson Tiny Marvels palette. I am going to be dipping into the color Web. Taking a Rephr 02 brush, I am going to coat the brush and make sure I spray it with a setting spray or any water. Using small patting motions, I'm going to pat it right onto the center of the lid, going into the very corner. Using the same brush, I'm just making sure I get right there in the corner so that it is nice and bright. Okay guys, so we got the basic eye look down. It's soft, but yet it pops. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna smoke it out. I'm gonna use just a regular liner, and I'm gonna just then take my holy grail brush. I would die if I lost this brush. I'm sorry, I keep looking over here. I would die if I lost this brush. Oh, it is by Hacky Hoodoo, and it is the J5549H. The perfect thing about this brush is if you're not an expert and you do have trouble, you know, getting a perfect line, you know, say that right there, you can't get the perfect line, you know, you're having a little bit of trouble, you're going to take this brush, dip it into just a plain black shadow, and then I'm going to, I can't really do it on camera, I'm going to take it, you can see it took it from looking like, you know, a squiggly line to like a sultry, smoky look. So this is what we're going to use, regular black liner. Not sure which one, I'll show you, but let's get started on the liner. Taking MAC in Smolder, I'm going to softly start drawing my line. Voila. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take the amazing brush that I was talking about, and I am going to dip it into the black shade and just dip it in. Then I'm going to kind of tap it off a little bit so it's not too crazy. Then I'm going to go right along the lash line, trying to be careful not to go up too high, because you want it to still be kind of soft and subtle. And then on the outer corner, I'm kind of taking, let me finish this here. Okay, so you can kind of see the difference. This one's a little more smoky and soft. Obviously that line's not perfect yet. So what you can do is you can take one like this, one that's kind of tiny, smaller bristles, and then you can take and dip it into that black, and then you just kind of go over the outer corner right there. Kind of just adds a tiny bit more definition. Okay. That's the eye that has the liner done and the outer corner done. This is the one that I still have to do. Let me finish. Be right back. Okay, so now we have the final smudged out look. What we're going to do next is I am going to curl my lashes a little bit, and then I'm going to put on mascara. Then we're going to do lashes. Just kind of giving my lashes a little bit. Not too crazy because they're going to be going over it with falsies anyway. Good enough. Falsie time. So I am going to show you how I do my lashes. By no means saying that my method is the rule and that's how you need to do it. Just how I do it and what works for me. I'm going to go with the first set here. Sorry, I was like testing them. I'm going to go with the first set here just because I'm trying to keep a somewhat natural look. Also, pointer if you feel like your lash line's not dark enough or that it's not going to cover where the lashes sit, take a felt tip liner and just kind of line right in here without going too crazy, keeping it very, very tight against the lash line. And then just right there, that kind of darkens where the lashes are going to sit in the center so that it hides the band as much as possible. I'm going to start. Here's your lash. Simple, easy, beautiful. You want to trim the lash to make sure that it's going to fit your eye. These lashes are not made to fit right out of the box. Everybody's eye is different. You want to just cut them to where they're going to look the best on you. And you want to kind of judge that by taking, I'm going to take my tweezers and I'm just going to kind of hold the lash. I'm going to hold it up against my eye. You want it to kind of finish right there at the end of where your lashes stop without going out too far. And then ideally the lash would sit right around in, oops, yikes, sorry guys. Ideally it would fit right around in there. So you can see it's going to stop about right there past the tear duct. So I'm just going to take a tiny bit. That should do it. And now I'm going to take my lash glue. I use Lily Lash Glue adhesive. They make two different colors. They make a clear color and they make a black color. If you're very experienced and you're comfortable, you can use the black color, but very cautious because it can be messy. It's like a little brush tip. Just gonna brush it along, get a little stray guys, along the lash, just along the band. And then you can see it looks white, but it turns kind of whitish blue, but it will turn clear. This is something I do. I don't know if anybody else does it. I don't know if it's just a me thing, maybe a me thing, not surprising. But I take my lash glue, and I also kind of brush it right where it could tend to pop up. Huge, huge, huge tip with lashes. Do not go to put them on your eye right away. You do that, they're going to be popping up everywhere. You want to give it time so that it gets tacky. I like to tilt my head back. And I'm going to press down. I kind of wiggle it in there. There is your front. And that's it. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It's really not that hard once you get a hang of it. I also, another tip, I like to take my tweezers and take my natural lash and my false lash and kind of squeeze them with the tweezers together. That way there is no definition between your false lash and your natural lash. So that is the lash applied. And now you can see why I almost require brides to wear lashes, because they make your eyes pop. So I'm going to apply my other lash and I'll be right back. All right, guys, lashes on. I also went ahead and cleaned up my underneath of my eye. Basically, you just take a wipey and you wipe underneath anything that may have fell. Now we are going to go on to probably one of the most important things when it comes to a bride, is her skin. She wants to be glowing, and she looks like she has such a healthy and beautiful glow to her skin. So I did go ahead and I already moisturized, but I am going to go in with, it may have been nice if you would have opened it prior, Holly. I'm going to go in, I love this. This is the Farsali Unicorn Essence Drops. Not only does it smell like heaven sent from above, but I just love what it does to my skin. I feel like these were all the rage when they first came out. And now, see, this is why you don't do your makeup before you do your eyes. Where that came from, God only knows. Now, normally, I would say probably 90% of my brides I airbrush, but I'm not going through all that jazz because it is a hassle in itself. Now I'm going to take the Tatcha Perfect Canvas, and I am just going to go over what I already laid down with the Unicorn Essence. This is a smoothing primer. Don't judge me on the way I'm putting on my primer, please. This is a judge-free area. Got it? Okay? Okay. Work it, queen. What I am going to use for my foundation is one of my faves, ungodly expensive. It is the La Mer foundation, the soft fluid longwear. And I am going to take the new Auric Glowlust, and this is in the shade Selenite. And I am just going to take two little drops, two little dewdrops. So I'm just going to kind of mix it around a little bit with my concealer brush. So I'm going to prime the underneath of my eyes. Before I forget, I'm going to take the Becca Anti-Fatigue Under Eye Primer and just kind of pat underneath of there. Do not pull on your eyeball. No. It will cause premature aging and wrinkling. Okay? On the same page? Okay. And you can use a sponge or you can use a brush, whichever you prefer. So I'm just going to lightly pat it in there. I want to go down into my neck. This color is a tad dark for me. This is my summer color, but we're making it work. Yeah. Okay, I am done. Do you see how beautiful and luminous that foundation is? Now, it is not that luminous if you're just using it by itself. The Auric 100% made it that way, but needless to say, it is still a phenomenal foundation with a phenomenal price tag. Yowzers. Okay, so next we're gonna go into our concealer. I'm using a little sample here of the new Rare Beauty because I want to try it out and I want to see what it's all about, because I do have their blush and I love their blush, so maybe I will like this. We shall see. Next, and you want to do this fairly quick because you don't want your under eye to crease like mine. Don't get old, folks. I am going to take the Charlotte Tilbury Under Eye and Face Brightener, and I am using shade 2. Does that look too dark for me? Maybe too dark for me. Let's try again. I'm going to just go with the Nikkia Joy powder, which is amazeballs. Alright, so I don't want to take away too much of that glow. So I am just going to set the areas that I know could crease with my sponge. So you may have noticed that we lost a little bit of the nice pretty glow. However, we're going to bring it back. We're bringing it back, girls. This is Lancome Absolue powder, and it is in peche. And thank you, Jacqueline Hill, because she is who got me started on this. I dip my sponge in there, and I am going to go just underneath the eye. Do you see how it brought just some life back into the eye? Just to bring back a little bit of life into the face, I'm going to dip into Sisley's. Oh hell, I ain't even gonna try. Phyto-Poudre. It's in Irisée 1. And my friend Mel got me started on this one, which is even more expensive than the Lancome. You guys are such pals. So I'm just gonna kind of go over everything. And this one has a beautiful glow to it, but it is not anything compared to the Lancome. Now we are going to add a little bit of dimension back into the face. So we are going to start by some bronzer. You can contour, that's completely up to you. I like to contour with bronzer just because I feel like it's more natural. It looks a little bit softer. I'm going to go in with my Tatcha Natasha Denonas. This tiny little guy. I need to know what shade is in this. Does it say? Maybe this is a blush. No, it's bronze and highlighting powder. So I'm gonna go in with a little fluffy guy. You want to start where the dip would be in your cheeks. You put darkness where you want it to go in and brightness where you want it to pop out. So just gently going in around here. Is that not gorgeous? Look at that bronzer. I need to get a full size of this, and I need to figure out how the hell I'm going to do that because I don't even know which one is in here. I like to go into the forehead. Just adds a little bit of dimension, salt, and color to the face. Next, blush. We're going to use one of my favorite blushes. It is the Ofra blush in collaboration with Samantha March. This is the Chiclet blush. Is that not beautiful? You can kind of stay over on this side if you want more of a matte and then more of a glowy color. I like to swish him around. And then you're going to stay right here at the apples of your cheeks. Oh, yes, queen. Samantha, you killed that. Next, we are going, we're in the home stretch, guys. We're going to use highlighter. I am going to use a new one from About Face. This is Halsey's line. It is a liquid, so it just depends if you're comfortable working with a liquid. That is the highlighter. I like to take a sponge and kind of like pat it out so that it's not too crazy intense. And then I'm just going to go right along the cheekbones. Now, everybody's different. Each bride is different. Some brides want that boom, that glow, which you can get with this. You just don't go as late as I am. I'm trying to keep it a little more natural, guys. Go to the ball of the nose. And then right there on the Cupid's bow. And then we're going to kind of smooth it all out with an Hourglass powder that is called Diffused Light, or Dim Light Fusion. Diffused Light by Hourglass. This is just I don't really even know how to describe it. It's like a magic powder. It just kind of brings life back into the skin. It's not really a highlighter because it's so subtle, but I like to just take it and buff it in over everything that I've just done, kind of blend it together. All right, I almost forgot to do the bottom of my eyeballsies. So I like to go in on the waterline, and I like to make it a little brighter. So we are going to use Charlotte Tilbury's iconic liquid pencil, and it is in the shade, I do not know. I cheat. And I'm just going to take my sponge. All right, and then I'm just going to darken it up underneath the eyes a little bit with a little bit of shadow. I am going to take a pencil brush, go with this one. It is a Rephr 03. I'm going to dip into that dark brown shadow that was from the Viseart palette. And I am going to keep it tight against the lash line and just go back and forth. And that kind of smokes it out a little bit. You can keep going, you can keep it lighter. It's all about what you want. Same thing on this guy. I do like to keep it on the outer part because I do not want to go in too far, because I want to make the eyes look bright and open. And then one last step that I want to do is I'm going to take some of that Glowlust by Auric, put it on my hand, and then I am going to take a flat brush and just dip a tiny bit in there, and I want to go on my brow bone and make the brow bone pop a little bit. It glow a little bit. Then I'm also going to take it and put it in here in the tear duct area so it brightens. All right, guys, there you go. This is the final look. I did go back in a little bit with the Tiny Marvels palette and put a little bit of that shade Web on my inner corner, just because I wanted it to pop a little bit more, and that pops. So I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned something from it. If you have any questions, drop them down below. Again, this is just one bridal look. For every bride's different. This is just a really easy look. It's honestly really not that hard to achieve. But anyway, I am so thankful that you guys watched. Thank you so much. Drop your comments down below. Please make sure you subscribe and hit that bell. That way you're notified each time that I drop a new video. And I really appreciate you guys for watching, and I love you. Mwah. Bye.